reading The Count of Monte Cristo, the beauty, the best, and it's my mid-review, why am I reading it? I'm actually 46% in, but I will get to 50% today. And reason why I started reading it is also kind of funny, because I was at the time following YouTuber and they had few read-alongs, so like we read books together. Please ignore my cat. And they recommended this with like, it wasn't said outright, but basically it's such a big classic, big in a size, that we will read it and be able to tell people we read it. And usually it's annoying when people like, I read classics, I read big books, but to be honest, there was something compelling about that. And then I saw a few reviews, and it was really interesting how people were talking about this book, because classics often described in terms of themes, or why it's important for the culture and history, or historical context, or why is it a classic? So a bit like high-level academic. But this, I think, more than by one person was described as a story, as a novel, just adventure story. I'm not sure it's counted as adventure, as revenge story. Another thing, he mentioned that it's like a classic revenge story, that many revenge stories as we know them today, like as a subgenre, are based on the Count of Monte Cristo. So that's their original, probably not the first one, but like the big influence on that. And also, more than one person said they wish it was longer. So intriguing. I started reading it, and I really recommend. By the way, so far I haven't finished, but first arc is very easy to go through, because there is only one storyline. Like, we're not introduced to bajillion characters. We know like 3 enemies, 4 enemies, main character, his love, whatever, few side characters. Like, there are a lot of characters already, but like very manageable and very easy to read. However, the reason I stopped was when he escapes and casts away his identity as Dantes and becomes Carlo Monte Cristo. The beginning of that like story part is very confusing because he assumes right away few identities. He's Carlo of Monte Cristo, but he's also Sinbad, I don't know what that is. Why? I actually have no idea why he decided to become Sinbad. And he also won as a person. And the reason he is them is not entirely clear. And when they introduce, it's not right away said, by the way, this is Carlo Monte Cristo. So I'm trying to like built in my head what's going on. Plus we introduced 2 new characters who still have relationship to all characters, because we are supposed to get that from their surnames, but I'm really bad with names, by the way. So at that point I was like, I'm kind of giving up. However, I found book clubs that reading it like next 2 weeks, and it's also a goal for this year to finish reading it. So I'm like, I will start again. The Rome, basically, after he escapes, there is this brief arc that happens in Rome, and then he moves to France. In Rome, in my head, it was a bit confusing. And second, but also bright. I can imagine it's like there was like a festival, some sort of, very interesting. I'm not entirely sure how all of the events are connected to the story. Are they relevant? But we start seeing this Count of Monte Carlo as this mysterious and also very extravagant, weird person. I guess that's the point of that arc. And then he moves to France. And this, for me, has very Jane Austen vibes, in terms of that no revenge happened yet. Like, we see that he's plotting, but no revenge happened. But he, well, yeah, I don't think, yeah, no revenge happened. He helped some people who helped him, but no revenge. Otherwise, he's just going visit different people I know that it's part of his future revenge. He needs to know these people, but it feels very Emma. In terms of that, or Pride and Prejudice, someone made review on those books that it's just people going to each other's houses. It's very like that. And he also very extravagant, even for the period. He's very weird. He says outlandish things in a way, but he's very charismatic and rich. So people are like, maybe that makes sense. I'm pretty sure he helped a woman he never met before. I'm pretty sure she's not super relevant for revenge plot to kill her husband. I'm not entirely sure. I also started already, what helped me, by the way, to get back into that is to open a list of all the characters on internet. There are a bunch of these like Count of Monte Carlo characters, and every time I see a name of someone, I'm like, who I think we met, I just like search it and get my answer how it's relevant, because I'm still sure I'm losing some of the subplot points, some of the revenge elements because of that. But also, if you do that, be careful, because some of them have spoilers for the future of these characters. I don't mind, but maybe it's issue for you. So I'm really afraid I will give up again, just because it's very intimidating to read it. I read almost 100 pages, and usually when you read 100 pages in any book, it's like you may be quarters through, or like it's visible. Here it's like this, so it's like very intimidating, but actually really fun. Like, I can see why people say that they wish it was longer. However, one thing I'm a bit worried about my future enjoyment is that I actually not sure how it ends, because I heard something, I saw some adaptations, mostly cartoon ones, so I don't know actually what happens in the original story, but I think there will be a point that revenge actually doesn't come to anything good. I don't see it yet. Like, I don't do deep analysis, but I don't see signs that that's what they foreshadowing for. But I see few elements where they foreshadow that big money bring unhappiness. And Count of Monte Cristo is really rich, which I'm not entirely sure how to feel. Maybe I'm wrong. We will see. Another thing, I don't think it's a big deal, but it was a bit jump scare for me, and I was almost ready to drop a book. Is that there is slavery at this period, and it's mentioned very casually. When Count of Monte Cristo becomes Count of Monte Cristo and becomes rich, at some point we learn that his servants are his slaves, and like, it's not a big deal in this story. It's just like, yeah. And I was a bit like, oh, because I feel like I should react somehow, but also like the author is dead, is like period appropriate, and it's not like it's glorifying it. So I was ready to drop, but to be honest, the reason I continued is because I was almost halfway through, and to be honest, like, I'm not enjoying moments where it's mentioned, but it's not a big part of the story. It's not super plot relevant, so I remind myself that it's more or less in the past, and just try to skip through that. So that's probably the only thing I'm not entirely enjoying. Otherwise, we will see. Maybe my opinions change by the end of it. Hopefully it will be before my birthday, because book club supposed to finish it by July, and I have birthday on 3rd of July. So I think it would be like a present to myself if I achieve this, my yearly goal to finally finish this book by my birthday. But we will see. Maybe it will take me one more year to finish.